Unsure of what the hell just happened to him, Richie comes to and finds himself in an unfamiliar place. This place appears to be from another world. He can't find his friends anywhere. Setting out to try and track them down, he enters the elevator. It takes him to a long hallway, and this hallway seems to transport him somewhere else. He enters into a game room and encounters a possessed doll who welcomes Richie as a contestant and to the House of Horrors. She speaks of someone else being there. She also mentions that this person wasn't scared of her. Richie needs to play hide and seek, and then the doll will tell him where Doc and Ahai are. The doll is using the computer screens to hide, and using a USB stick, Richie finds the doll 3 times and the doll is pulled out of the computers and into the room. The doll speaks of a really scary ghost being down there. Richie attempts to console the sad doll and she jumps at him and disappears. Moving on, following the green orb, Richie finds Doc in the women's bathroom. However, Doc has been possessed by the spirit from the doll. Doc had played the doll at the same game previously, and as a result lost and got possessed. Trying to slap the demonic out of him, Richie tries to make Doc see sense, but this does not work. A geezer with a lamp is mentioned, along with the fact that this geezer was there 30 years ago, and that he ensured that spirits would be trapped there in the university. The green orb opens up another games room. There's another game to play. In this one, it says that solving 3 puzzles will allow the player to be granted anything that they wish. So, receiving a special key, Richie opens up 3 boxes and receives some blank papers, a decorative plate, and some sticky red liquid. A hidden door is opened in the game room, and this leads to a secret room with strange drawings on the walls and an altar, and on said altar is a special Ouija board. Going off of instructions, Richie places the items on the board and chants the words. He is answered by a spirit. The spirit was referred to by the Games Club as the Dark One, and it confirms that this is who Richie is speaking with. The spirit also refuses to let Doc and Ahai leave safely. However, it does allow Richie to find Ahai. The conversation ends and a passageway opens up underneath the altar. Doc goes flying down into it. Going down there, Richie finds Doc again in the elevator, which moves as soon as Richie is inside. Doc is no longer possessed, but after being slapped again, he freaks out and runs off. Going after him, Richie finds himself in another different area. He observes a shadow of a ballerina practicing her dancing. Moving on, he eventually comes to a dance studio and finds a broken music box. Doc is terrified and is hiding inside a locker. Approaching the dance studio, a ballet dancer shows up and is practicing. There's something that Richie needs from inside the studio, but he dare not disturb the dancer's practice. Careful to avoid her gaze, he sneaks through the dance studio and grabs the ballerina figure and places it into the music box. The ballerina freaks out but takes the bait, and this draws her away from the exit door. After Doc helps get the door open, there's a chase on, and the mad ballerina is angry. Nonetheless, Richie makes it to safety. After some fooling around with different masks on ballerina mannequins, Richie witnesses a ballerina using the very same Ouija board, meaning that they too summon the Dark One at some point. Able to exit the area, Richie ends up in front of an auditorium. After entering and picking up the missing head for the figurine he picked up earlier, Richie witnesses a performance by the mad ballerina.
李月饼呢？还没来？啊，车祸？真的假的？
请欣赏由首席演出者李月红带来的演出曲目。
After this, Richie has to survive by avoiding the mannequins. Eventually, the performance comes to an end, and joined by Doc, Richie heads onto the stage and witnesses another disturbing scene involving the death of the mad ballerina. What's more is that the mad ballerina's actions were being controlled and manipulated by the Dark One. A bunch of flowers are also on the stage along with the music box. Reattaching the head and placing the now complete ballerina figure into the music box sees the mad ballerina seemingly at peace, along with another ballerina. They leave and see Ahai walking around with a lantern. They attempt to shout to her but to no avail, as she cannot hear them. Progressing, Richie slips after a surface gives way, but despite Doc's best efforts, he falls a short way down. Whilst Richie has been going through all of that, Ahai has been busy too. When Richie spotted the dark figure in the camera, Ahai saw it too. It seemed to call out the name of the woman she was playing, as if the dark figure was after her specifically. After Richie and Doc got whisked away to some other parallel world, Ahai was left there in the room, alone. Exiting the room, she has to flee from evil hands that are trying to grab her. She evades them, grabbing the lantern that Sue had dropped, and she enters into the elevator. As expected, creepy things start to happen, and the anima lantern lights up. The hands come through and touch her, and exiting the elevator, she seems to have been transported to 1963, another parallel reality when the university was still under construction. Ahai then spots the green orb which disappears behind a locked door. Further down the hall, Ahai enters into another room, and she is inside the office of the university's founder, Wenxiong. The green spirit shows Ahai a photograph of Yu Yi, Wenxiong's daughter, and the woman who was murdered by the architect in 1960. Ahai is slightly freaked out as she herself bears a striking resemblance to the young woman. She also finds a proof of engagement between Yu Yi and Yan Shuwen, along with a strange rock, and a letter to Wenxiong regarding the engagement of Yu Yi and Yan, along with a glowing endorsement from another gentleman who had introduced Wenxiong to Yan in the first place. Ahai witnesses a flashback which sees Yu Yi essentially being forced to marry Yan, an arranged marriage. She tried to warn her father what Yan was like, but he was having none of it. Wenxiong spoke of the rock Yan gave him, and he was almost mesmerized by it, saying it belonged to a high-ranking monk. Yu Yi comments how her father has changed, and she hands him a key to Yan's office so he can see what he's been up to, but he's not interested, instead admonishing his daughter. Afterwards, the key is on the desk now, so Ahai grabs it and gains entry to Yan's office. Yu Yi was right, Yan was up to something very shady. She also solves some puzzles that are clearly of occult design, and this reveals a secret passage, leading to a back area. Ahai discovers a load of old surveillance equipment. Yan was spying on people and trying to see what they were up to. Up a ladder into another hidden section, Ahai discovers the blueprints for the building dated 1959. Yan used something called dark geomancy in order to haunt the Duren building. Ahai surmised that the ghostly hands have something to do with Yan. Ahai hears a voice. Bizarrely, it's a previous echo of the Sarge. How is he there in 1963? Why does he look exactly the same? Either way, the Sarge sees all the equipment there and becomes very suspicious of what Yan is up to. Following the echo of the Sarge, Ahai follows him to the nurse's room, and another echo reveals the Sarge and the Duren building's nurse Tan Junmei were in love. Anyway, the Sarge reveals what he found in Yan's office and says it's dark magic, and he tells Junmei to be careful around him. After this, Ahai hears a phone conversation in which Yu Yi and Junmei agreed to meet in the parking garage. Heading down to level B2 and uncovering various echoes, sees Ahai uncover a bloodstained shovel, a high heel covered in blood, and a bloodstain on the wall. These were all items from the murder of Yu Yi at the hands of Yan. Spotting another echo of the past, Ahai witnesses the brutal assault on Yu Yi. Yan talks about a magic circle being complete, and that when it is, he'll come for her. The nurse Junmei turns up as arranged, and Yan hits her with the shovel too. Tragically, her head gets caught in the lift, and Yan is revealed to be the Dark One, the dark figure that Ahai encountered earlier on. He chases Ahai, saying that she is now Yu Yi. Avoiding the evil hands, Ahai is able to give the Dark One the slip. She is back in the elevator and back in 2016 again. She explores and hears a phone ringing. It's Su Lian's phone. She recorded herself being dragged away and tried to upload it, but the upload failed. Thinking she's nearby, Ahai looks around and finds a flower on her desk, but has to hide as the now evil sergeant roams around. He's mumbling and groaning, but he eventually leaves after picking up the flower Ahai dropped. Inside a safe, she finds what the sergeant placed inside, a key to the nurse's office. Thinking that this may be where the sergeant took Sue, Ahai goes there and finds a hidden passage. Inside the passage, she finds Sue's journalist identification, indicating that she's on the right track. Exiting the passage, Ahai finds herself in another rundown area of the university. Hearing a bang from above the ceiling tiles, she investigates.